Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing it Street Geek and Nerd Soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of this right. Nerd Soul on screen. We talk about TV, movies, all that jazz. But I ain't by myself. We got a great show today. Right over here, you know him, cinematic sorcerer, Solar Greye.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing out there? It's Solar Greye, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower, at least the new expansions to the Wizard's Tower. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, that's right. I'm covered in paint, all right? It happens.
Look, sometimes you got to do the work. So,
sometimes
down in the bottom square. It's been a while. You probably missed him. You were like, where's he at? All right. I submit to you. Not only Entertainer of the Year, Times Man of the Year, not only voted sexiest man by Women's Health, and also
this much,
and also, you know, how should I say, life coach to the stars, Clement Bryant.
Wait, life coach to the stars?
I mean, they come to you for
about your Chris Rock meeting.
What am I, Tony Robbins? Am I Tony? Are you trying to say I'm Tony Robbins?
You're better than that.
That messed up. see, again, you lied to the people. The people, stop lying to the people. The people deserve better than lies, Loki.
We're just trying to play it down.
Okay. Anyways,
and master therapy.
Let's do this. Mike, what'd you say?
I said it's better that we just say life coach instead of Nobel-winning psychiatry professor.
See, here you go with your nonsense.
It's actually not a bad idea. I like that one.
No.
So no. We're here to talk Loki. Good old Loki.
We're here to talk Loki.
He ain't never hurt nobody. He ain't never did nothing to nobody. He was just minding his business. Oh, chilling out, kicking it.
Kicking it.
Living his life, and then the TVA came.
I'm just thinking about
threw it all out of whack. You know what I'm saying? The TVA, they took him here, they took him there, they tore everything up. But you know what? He said, I got a plan. Well, kind of a plan. He didn't have a super plan, but he was like, I got kind of a plan. I'm trying to work it out. And we have been on this journey with him for now 4 episodes. This episode is called Nexus Event. I'll go on and kick it to the enlightened one, Clement. How are you feeling about Nexus Event?
Man, this episode had everything that you would want in a TV episode. It had humor, it had a good story arc, and there was multiple parts where that was some badass fighting, but it was also heartbreaking. And I know we're gonna get into it because I don't want to like push the conversation too early. But when we get there, I have a lot of feelings about that ending. The way that things just like started ending at the end. Man, like I had came home at like 1 and I watched it and I wasn't able to fall asleep until like 2:30 because like it messed me up. Yeah, it messed me up in a good way.
It definitely it leaves you with a lot of questions. I mean, a lot of good questions, but it's just, and then stuff happens where you're like, oh man. So, but Solar, where you at? How you feeling?
Well, there is a lot in this episode, so I guess my only response is wow. Now,
boy.
Honestly, from a literary standpoint, this episode was exactly what the show needed. Exactly what the show needed. Because exactly what the show. Because not a minute. I'm not muted on somebody's thing. I'm hearing myself. You know, I honestly thought, like, how can I put this? There were not every scene was perfect. I'm gonna put that out there. We have a restart. Yeah, not every scene was perfect, but but um the scenes that were good were amazing. Okay, seriously.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
was really, really, really good. Um, but this episode seemed a lot like it was tying up some story threads, although it didn't answer any questions. You know, I
Okay.
mean, it answered one question, but
Okay.
really it had the feeling of a climax. And in a lot of ways, it was a climax, but it led to something else. You know what I mean?
I get you. All right. And with me, this is an episode that I wish was a little longer because we started getting into you know, the world that I know isn't real, or I've been lied to for so long, and
Yeah.
now I'm just starting to wake up. You know, uh, so
And
I would
truth,
really like to deal with that a little bit more.
yeah, I honestly think that the revelations and the resolution to those revelations was pretty rushed with one character and not delved in deeper with the other character. You know, that was where I'm sitting. Like, you know, I'm trying to like not name names, not be spoiling and stuff like
Oh
that.
no,
This
we're
is
talking about this as if we're talking about this as if everyone here has seen it. So we can jump around and stuff if you need to. I'm not
All
tripping.
right. So
I don't be tripping on this.
Owen Wilson's revelation was way too fast.
You feel it was too fast?
I felt I felt
Huh.
one. I really felt that he was convinced too easily. I really wanted to see him do just a tiny bit more discovery, like 5 more show minutes of discovery, and maybe 2 show minutes of his reaction to finding out the truth
Okay.
before the big wow. Um, and
Wow.
wow, I had a jet ski, you know. And yeah, that's what I think every time I rewatch that scene over. And I'm gonna watch that scene for every movie I didn't like him in. So I'm gonna be watching a lot. But yeah, um, and you know, our girl C15, you know,
Mhm.
I wanted to see more. I understand there were
Okay.
budget constraints, so we couldn't see what was in her head. Okay, but I wanted to see a little bit more of, you know, it's I know this is normally a thing left for main characters in a lot of stories, but the
Okay.
revelation that your life is a lie, the revelation that what you had might have been better, the tears, the anger. I wanted to see a little more of that instead of just 10 seconds.
All right. So now I'll ask this because I thinking back, after the episode, I was like, I really wish we could have seen some of the C20 scenes firsthand. Do you think that could have helped in seeing some of that? And like, of course, pairing that with Owen Wilson and maybe a scene or two with him actually questioning Sylvie and or Loki and like gleaning more insight into what may be, a life full of lies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I give it the budget constraints, but in
Yeah.
my head canon, I'm like, okay, Sylvie touches her, and then they just would have cut to a scene of her on stage in Lovecraft Country, and I would have been fine with that. But
But yeah, so I get okay, if you're gonna go there, let's talk about the Nexus event because Eon 001 brought it up. Clever little Vixen is up in here talking about it. Can you, Eon 001 asks, can you fall in love with an alternate reality version? As a matter of fact, hold on. We got your boy coming back through. So
Good,
Clement
good,
is
good.
back.
I'm
So
like, I hope I
once
didn't skip
Clement
one.
comes back, I'll ask the question again. All right, Clement, you with us?
I'm back. Sorry, I had
What
to
up?
restart the computer.
Oh, you all good. So Eon 001, we've been talking about the Nexus event and stuff. And Eon 001 asks, can you fall in love with an alternate reality version of yourself without it not being incest? And then Clever Little Vixen says, not really incest at all, unless pregnancy gets involved. But that's way too hentai for me to think about this early in the day. Oh man.
We're gonna be addressing this because
I'll go in and I guess I'll address it because the show does kind of touch on it in a weird way. Even Owen Wilson talks about it. He's like, wow, really, kind of thing. I mean,
sorry, I'm a laugh. Every time
technically
we
they're
talk
not
about
related, really. I mean, they are, but see, this is what happens when you mess with alternate realities and time and stuff, because technically they're not related.
No,
But then they're also the same person.
yeah.
Yes.
So
I thought you'd be talking for 1,000, Alex. So,
Yeah. Here's the
but
question.
then
Talk
Clever
about
Little
this?
Vixen does say something about of course we keep this a family show, but she speaks about self-pleasing. If this is technically yourself, is this any different than self gratification?
okay. I think I'm gonna take.
I'm just saying, because this opens up the door for questions and conversations like that, and it's like I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna take 1,000 steps back for a second.
Step back.
just like that. The fact that he falls in love with a version of himself, it makes sense. As weird as that is,
as narcissistic as he is, it makes sense.
It makes complete sense that the only person that would be able, the only other person to get through that, I'll say hard-headed, I'm trying to keep this family oriented, but like the only person other than his mom to get through that would be someone who is himself.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense. So like I'm with the story there, but then when you start talking about all this other nonsense, it's kind of like, oh wait, yeah, that's right. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like, it's weird, it's messed up, but it's also kind of like makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like you don't know this person. It's like you're not this. It's I don't know, man. I'd say no. I'd say on principle, probably no. It's not a good idea. But I guess if you want to get into technicalities,
it's like they're the same person, but they have different life experiences.
Yeah,
which is why I think he falls for her, because it's different. He's like, wait, you were messed up as a kid like I was. That's the first thing.
Yeah, so you got the shared trauma. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. I mean, this is a hard one for me to answer because
right?
There are different ways to approach this. Okay. Are we talking moral and ethically, or are we talking biologically? See, that's a really big thing. Remember,
yeah, it's true.
The big I word, it was originally something that humans developed not to do because of mutations and its danger to the gene pool. And then the moral and ethical stuff was tacked onto that. But they both taken root. So, biologically speaking, hey, if they don't pump out little loci, do what you're gonna do. And that's the whole thing. Yeah, the idea of, well, here's the thing. A narcissist on the level of Loki, falling in love with an alternate version of themselves is so obvious it borders the realm of cliche. Because who's a narcissist like that gonna love more? It is literally impossible for a narcissist to love someone more than they love themselves. So if they can find themselves in a different body, that's more than obvious. Okay. Biologically speaking, Their difference is one chromosome if they were human. Okay. But
Yeah, I
they're
forgot.
not.
They're also human. I mean, they're also not human. So
So thinking about it biologically is way too deep a rabbit hole to go down. I follow YouTube channels that would do that. A couple come immediately to mind, but I ain't advertising somebody else's stuff on the channel. Um, but but yeah. And so the next question is like ethically, what's the ethical thing? Is it ethical for a narcissist to fall in love with an alternate dimension of itself, who by its very nature is also a narcissist?
hmm.
If I could put in clips right now, would be Austin Power going, "Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed."
Wow. Yeah,
Like true,
we're gonna table that.
yeah, true. That's what I was gonna recommend.
We'll table that. For now, it's one of those.
Well, here's the. Can I say one thing before we table it?
All right.
Given the amount of adult content there is out there revolving around step family, because I see
Ooh,
Vixen
yeah.
just talked about they were
There's
just
a lot.
together.
A little too much.
So that kind of stuff pops by the biological thing, you know. So again, I guess tabling it's best because when it comes to what you consider, like what line your ethics are drawn to, and until we find out about Asgard biology, it's really just a cloud conversation, distracting the rest of the story.
Yeah. So, how I'll ask this question to both of you. How sad were you when Mobius took a L? Because
Wow.
because I felt like they did a great job of getting us to know him and stuff. And then when he took it out, I was like, oh man, I was just like, but I know there's only 2 episodes left, so I guess they gotta ratchet it up. But I was just like, man, he ain't never gonna get them jet skis.
Yeah, you remember that scene from Black Dynamite when they were doing the assault on the drug dealer's place, and it's like, yeah, after this, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna raise a family. I'm gonna buy a farm. Takes out a picture. Look at my girl. That's all I saw. That's really all I saw. I'm like,
It's cold, man.
once he came to that that realization or that acceptance of the twist. When he's like, I might have had a family, I might have had a jet ski, I might have had a brother that's in another superhero show. I don't know, I'm like, he's going out in 3, 2, 1. Bye, man. So
and I will say, I think they built up him and I can't think of her name right. Raven. I know it's not Raven. Ravonna. Sorry. So they built up their relationship good. So I that one kind of got me. I was like, like I mean, I didn't cry, but I felt kind of like a little deflated because I was like, oh man, he's finally getting it. He saw the info. I'm like, all right, cool. Him and Loki about to team up, and it's like, nope, nope.
That's essentially what they did.
Exactly
like
what they did.
And they had that moment of, okay, finally we are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Our interests are aligned, to borrow a quote from that episode.
Yes.
Build it up, and right when you get it, it's like, oh wait,
they spent way too much money on animatronics and couldn't afford Owen Wilson anymore.
Well, I mean, they spent a lot of money on getting Lady Sif in there to do like the knee and the punch so many times. It's like, look, hey, what can you do?
Right. And I was happy to see Jamie Alexander again.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters, and I liked her portrayal of it so much that she was my pick for Wonder Woman before they got Gal Gadot. But I really couldn't get one thing out of my head.
So
it was, Mamu, I'm here to bargain. needed a punch in the face.
I get what you're saying.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. You know, I love time loops. Don't get me wrong. You know, all they were missing was Sonny and Cher coming on a clock radio to say, "I got you, babe," before she walked into the room.
Wow.
Jeez.
But it would actually be kind of cool if the production teams and the writers could come up with a different punishment, something different. You know.
Okay.
Excuse me. I mean, you know, everybody who knows me and a lot of your viewers know I'm DC preferential, but like the Omega effect would be cool, but I know it's only a show, and there's a lot of budget that would have to go into to the Omega sanction. You know, where Batman got hit at the end of Final Crisis. It costs a lot of money to rapidly him via Indiana Jones and then push for wine back and forth. So it gets, you know, so Loki gets a lifetime of rapid aging pain and then back, you know, kind of thing. So I get it. Build a set and have the actors do it over and over and over again. And I think what my overall thing about this show is really being brought to the surface, which is I see a lot of decisions made because of budgetary constraints versus compelling story.
And now I will say the budget constraint thing, because we touched on that a couple of times. I wonder if it was a budget constraint or a pandemic thing, because I mean, Disney got cash flow, and with the, you know, Disney got a little cash flow. I mean, just a little bit. So I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not their only production that they're running, but Disney got a little flow. And I mean, even from Disney Plus alone, you know, they're pulling in a lot of money every month.
110 million subscribers so far.
So 110 million times, what is it, $6.99 or something like that, $5.99, whatever.
That's $7. So yeah,
so around 700 million and some change every month. Every month. That's outside of selling a toy, a book bag, a cup, people coming into the park. They got a little bit of flow.
Tells people
their pockets is all right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, I guess I get you, because it's not only budget, but it's also time. They got to get this stuff out at a certain time because it has to link up to this and that and third. But on your budget statement, and this might go with the show, Clever Loviction said, seriously, who else thought about Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties when you saw the Timekeepers?
Hey, I was waiting for Nicolas Cage to invade the thing and just start beating up the Timekeepers.
But I think the way they did that was a dead giveaway to, so like the moment I saw it, I had two things. I was like, okay, this is a different level MCU than I'm used to, but also I wonder if they're fake, because that was the first thing I said. That was the first thing, especially when that chamber opened. I was like, okay, are they robots? Are they synthezoids? What's the deal?
Yeah, something's not right. Like when she went in the first time, it looked ominous. But then the second time she went out, I was like, hold up.
Right.
I was like, something ain't right about this. Like, they don't look right.
Exactly.
It's really weird for me because I watch a lot of stories about con men, bank robbers, crime stuff, you know, and I saw all of the red flags that you learn in Psych 101 every time Ravonna talked about it, was the thing. It was like, you know, oh no, they said they are doing this. I just talked to them while you was out of the room. Now that you're back, they gone. And they said blah, you know.
Or why can't I talk to him? Oh, you can't talk to him because what?
Yeah. Because they swimming right now and they are very busy. And you have to make an appointment and call back at the scheduled hours, or you will find yourself hanging from, you know, it's one of those, if I didn't see Suge Knight at a trial, I wouldn't believe there was a real Suge Knight type thing. Wow. And at the end of it, when we saw the setup and the framing, the set, it looked all right. And this is coming from the dude that's been like, set design.
That's what we right here on that one.
And then it was like, But the thing that really got me, all I could hear was, "Who disturbs the great and powerful us?" No, 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 no. Pay no attention to little black chick. No, look at here. Look, no, no. Stop looking at the black chick. Look at me. Look at me. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah.
Yeah,
But also, go ahead.
because someone, I
No,
think
no,
Eon
no, no,
001
no.
said the fight scene in there also looked kind of low budget. If it was no one, nobody, whoever said it, I apologize if I got it wrong, but somebody was talking about how the fight scene looked a little low budget, and I'm like, yeah, the fight scene just came together in a way where it's like, okay, like we want to make sure no one gets hurt until we have our moment with Loki. So, we have to kind of make it look good, but not as good as it looked on the train. Because on the train, you look at that fight scene and you look at this, you're like, feel like we cut some corners, or we were just trying to like get to, the moment where Loki was like, hey, I'm glad you're okay. Oh,
Right.
It did
And
feel rather obligatory. I mean, that's really what it's like. We have to have a fight scene here because kids watch this. So do the fight scene. Now, moving on to the next bit. That's what it felt.
yeah. See, and even like I like the fight scene in terms of what the story was trying to tell. But even like when you're watching it, the fluidity of the fight scene, there was like a cut here, a cut here, a cut here.
yeah.
And I'm like, and this is only something that like people who watch like a lot of action fight scenes, like Solar, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You start to see if literally you start to pick up like a natural flow in a language of a fight scene, no matter how many people are in the fight scene.
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
watch it back, there's a cut, and I'm like, wait, why is there a cut there? Why that didn't make sense?
And then you start to see how the actors, like when they do the cut, you're like, hold up, they're in the wrong place. It's because of course we watch so many action shows and movies and stuff. It's when you see, it's tough because in their defense, you're competing in a market where I can go and binge the show Warrior or watch the movie The Raid or watch, any number of these shows or movies where action scenes are like incredible and they have a full wide shot. So you know who someone is, you know where they are in relation to each other and all that. But then they're like, hey, we got a quick budget and maybe our actors aren't the most skilled martial artists. I got love for Tom Hiddleston, but he never struck me as someone who's going to throw down. So, in that case, you have to make something that works for all of these actors, the stuntmen and Gugu and Mbatha-Raw.
I'm with you on that, but simultaneously, it's Disney. They can easily call up the fight crews from Daredevil.
True. Yeah.
And the fight crews.
I'm sure they got that info.
Ain't too busy.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't have the resources and the stuff. I literally think that while filming this whole thing, the fight wasn't what was the fight itself. It was a thing, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the focus of the scene.
Right.
It was an afterthought. The scene was about the timekeepers finding out that they were fake and coming to terms with Sylvie having a life that seems wasted, but finding out there's a deeper bent to the rabbit.
Right.
So the fight was incidental. I mean, read Marcus Aurelius, and each thing, what is it in itself? I can't believe I got Hannibal Lecter in my head. Well, we are talking about bad guys. Yeah, so the fight scene itself, it was just something. This is a superhero show. Superheroes fight.
We gotta have them fight in some kind of way. Because then that makes me wonder, because Eon 001 said, this show doesn't need that kind of action. I find it off when they do close quarters combat. Let me ask this. Let me throw it to the chat and to you guys. Do you think it would have been better to just not have any fighting in this show at all? Or maybe, because we've seen Loki use his knives and stuff, but not in a way where it's like, homie is, he ain't about to pull out the Sharingan styles and, be like flipping blades around.
See, in the flow of the script, especially when Hunter finds out that she is a variant.
Yes, because I wanted to talk about that next. So go on and hit that point.
So the fact of the matter is that you're dealing with two storylines that are converging of Mobius finding out he's a variant and Mobius dying. So obviously Loki's already pissed off. And then you have Hunter putting in Hunter into that mix. I think the fight scene was needed because there was a lot of tension that was converging on top of each other. So I feel like it was needed in some sort of way. The way it came off, like I said, I didn't exactly hate it. But there were things just as someone who watches a lot of action, I was like, that could have been done better. But I feel like it needed to be there, especially for that reason. Especially with the timekeepers being as fake as they were, and that everyone is kind of bought into this grand, big conspiracy lie that has been basically subjugating a lot of people. A lot of people.
I mean, they have a whole kind of DMV set
They
up.
have an army. They have a militarized force.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's a good part because I was looking at some of the propaganda, and I was like, this feels very Nazi-esque, right?
I have been saying that since the first episode. I'm like, look at them helmets. They ain't the good guy.
Right. So like, I feel like that fight scene was needed. That's like a long story short, but yeah, I feel like it was nice to see a fight scene, but also in the way that I'm kind of mixed on it. You know.
Now, to answer the question of would the show be better if there'd be no fight scenes? No, it wouldn't. Here's we have seen Loki get down and do fisticuffs, like you said. However, it's not where, but who you're with that really matters. Every time you see Loki in a fight scene, he's either had an army at his back or little army at his back, being 4 or 3. So, when you've got that kind of muscle, Loki chooses different tactics because
he is a god of mischief.
Yeah, Thor's got the punch in the face, so he has the illusions, but he's fighting what he considers to be lesser foes. Like they're not Asgardians, they're not equal. So he doesn't have to pull out his tricks. He can just smack them around. You know, kind of like when you're babysitting at a cookout or something, and all the kids come and they rush you and they pull you to the ground. You're not pulling, you're spinning back kicks. You know, you're not gonna be doing that. You're just gonna push them to the ground and tickle them a little bit. And for somebody on Loki's biological level, being Asgardian, you know, it's a different thing. Like he's taking a step down to fight them because if he were to use his power, he would just wipe them away. You know. Just and again, this is narratively speaking, like we talked about earlier. In this particular playlist, I hope it's a playlist. You know how Thor 1 was filmed in reverse because it started with the big screw off army and it ended with Thor farting on his little brother's head. You know. And it's just it's a different thing in power levels on that. So Loki, we need to see Loki show the fullness of what he can do. Because like in the comics, he knocked out Thor with 1 punch.
Yep.
You know, he's on that level. You know,
like he can fight.
Huh? Yeah, but we didn't see that. So
I think the key is also the motivation of what exactly is he fighting for too.
Yes.
That's that he's gonna want
fight for love.
He's fighting, exactly. He's fighting. He's like the way he's fighting is a little bit more romantic because he's fighting for love. Whereas in Thor 1, Thor 2, Ragnarok, even Avengers, he's fighting for basically world domination and to be crowned king. He's fighting for 2 different things that we've seen him fight before. So I think like he's gonna be a little bit more weakened in his fighting stance because he's fighting for, however messed up it is, this woman that he is pining for, you know.
That's why that, like all I can think of Adam Sandler, the water boy.
All right. Anyway, moving on from fights.
All right. So I did want to talk about Ruby for a second.
B15, yes.
B15. Don't talk about Ruby. I'm hurt.
Did any of you get a vibe of kind of like, you know, a Matrix-y type vibe when, you know, she was being sort of awakened by Sylvie? Because like when I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, see, she's being awakened. I'm like, we need to go
Like
wake
an
up the rest of
homage
these
in the
fools.
framing? Yeah, you mean like an homage in the framing or something? Or
Well,
what
no,
do you-
just kind of like how it came off when she finally like let go of her hand or whatever. I was just like, oh, wow. I mean, outside of waking up in goo and robots and stuff, just
Well,
the
she
just
did
the
do
awakening
do
part.
kung fu, so yeah, I'm not sure.
All
I
right,
didn't.
cool. So all
For
right,
me-
just checking to see if I was the only one. So all right, just checking. But I
Oh,
did like that scene where
Yeah.
I think enough of them have always felt something was weird about TVA
Mhm.
because you drop one pebble in this pond and you got Ruby and Mobius, well, B-15, both of them like, all right, let me follow this up. Because if none of them have ever felt weird about anything, they would have just thrown those comments to the wind and kept on doing their thing. But this is the second person now, and I'm pretty sure other people probably would have been interested to know as well. If it was just one, I'd be like, all right, maybe that's the special person or whatever. But no, this is two people that are like, hey, tell me a little bit more about what you're saying about this whole thing being fake. I think each TVA person probably has felt something was off or a little different, during their service, I guess you could say, to the TVA. Because the second they brought up it not being real, Owen starts being like, Mobius starts being like, all right, maybe I should ask a couple more questions. And then B-15 is on the same page, like, give me a little more what you're selling.
I don't know about when Mobius, like I think Mobius, if I'm recalling the narrative correctly, um, had a feeling that something was off. Not necessarily it's real. This isn't real. But I definitely saw let me talk to B20. Oh no, man, she gone. Where'd she go? Because I saw her a few minutes ago. No, man, she was all crazy. She was tripping.
It's like, well, I mean, she was shaken up, but she didn't seem crazy.
All right.
Right. And again, the little hint before of, Morbius, use a coaster. There's already rings here. Yeah, you put them there. I don't remember putting them there. Are you gaslighting me, woman? I mean, there's always been a bit of that.
Yeah.
And their relationship. Again, I've been watching a lot of adult dramas, so I see their relationship in a very Game of Thrones kind of way, where what they're talking about is not what they're talking about. Everything is in subtext.
Okay.
Just like so you got an agent that you like better than me. Am I being fired? Oh no. Morbius, remember when we started that whole thing? Are you still loyal? And I saw a lot of that going on. Like they're always trying to trip each other up. So I didn't really see a whole bunch of trust right there. I mean, the only time I saw something different between those two was in the first episode during Loki's hearing. And then after, when Ravonna was like, dag, nabbit Morpheus, I'm tired of dealing with your shenanigans. I've lost 5 squad cars so far. I mean, that's but besides, I'm tired of your shenanigans, but you get results. And so has Loki gotten to you? But I'm not going to ask you directly. Like, that's all I see their relationship is. So what I see Morpheus doing is going, yeah, she don't exactly trust me, and she's trying to get away with something. Okay, and all right. So let me question B20. Nah, son, she crazy. She cannot speak to anyone. And I think the same thing would have happened at B15 if they'd known that she too was possessed by Enchantress or by Sylvie. But nobody knew that except for Loki, Sylvie, and B15.
Yep.
And
it's even like, look at like B15's story. For the first couple episodes, she's like this really rough and tough, kind of just like no nonsense kind of officer in a way.
She's a nonsense.
After that happens, there's something there where it's like that anger is masking something. And maybe I'm looking too much into it, but then, which is why she had that reaction the way she did when the rain, at the Rockstar when they went back to Rockstar. So like it's amazing how much things that still, like, at least me, I'm not picking up, but then I'm like, oh wait, yeah, this makes complete sense. Narratively, it makes sense. So that seems it's a really good scene. It would kind of caught me off guard in a way because I was also like just in detective mode the whole way, or the whole episode was in detective mode. Just being like, wait, what's happening?
Truth. I wish it lasted maybe another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds to a minute would be fine. Just to be like, oh, I used to be happy. It looked like I was happy, And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting Andrea Beaumont to come out.
Wow.
Who got that reference? But the whole thing on that was, like I said earlier, I wanted to see more of the transformation. I wanted, because that whole, oh, I know the truth, completely shift gears. It didn't work with Star-Lord for most people. Like in Infinity War, when Star-Lord shifted gear and screwed up the whole plan. Even those of us that watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2 still didn't work with the immediate, oh, I know a thing and I'm against you now, rah. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And what narrative? I could have used some more,
I will say, since we do sort of have two storylines kind of converging, right? 3-ish kind of. maybe
oh my god, it's the multiverse of loose plot threads. Yeah.
Maybe, and see, that's the thing about doing these short, and it's weird because you look back at WandaVision and you're like, yo, they got 8 episodes. Did they get 8 or 9? They got 8?
Yeah, they got it.
All right, so, and then these ones, it's like only 6. I'm like, no, actually, we might need one more here. Like, maybe one episode of maybe Mobius awakening on his own, or kind of figuring things out. Maybe the thing with if we got the scenes like we were talking about with what was it, C20 in the interrogation, maybe him going back and forth with Loki, and then also his suspicions maybe tipping off B-15 to question Sylvie, because this episode handles a lot.
Yeah. It's like, almost a penultimate episode of another show, or of a lot of other shows, and the penultimate episodes of their seasons.
Yeah, it does handle a lot, but I do like the revelations we get, or the revelation we get. I guess 2. There's one. You got the thing with Ravonna where it's like we're still not going to know what it is between her and Sylvie, or what it is about them two, because she's refusing to give Sylvie whatever she wants. You know what I'm saying? And Sylvie's like, well, I'm not going to kill you. And it's like, because we need you for the next 2 episodes. But
and I think that's the thing with this show. It's not masking its tropes very well.
Right.
Yeah. And then
I killed so many of your henchmen just to get to your bosses. And now I kill your boss. Okay, it's not your boss. So you can live.
So you can
lunch,
it's okay.
You want to get a sandwich, I mean,
right.
And then of course the post credit. Because I was like, man, I know we gonna get a post credit.
We haven't talked about the thing that leads to the post credit.
I mean,
we gotta talk about that, because
important? I mean,
it's important. The fact that Loki lets his guard down.
Yeah.
Like that, we did get one of my favorite tropes with the I'm about to confess my true feelings. And then no. I'm like, oh dear God, no, don't. I've got a Jamaican crab in my head, singing, and I can see those two on a boat, and I'm going, no.
Yeah, it's those two. That one, the one I'm about to confess my love. It's about to get interrupted in some kind of way, or the trope of like, I've got all the information. I'm gonna meet you tonight at 8 p.m. they're dead.
But
I just want you to know
this one
they're
time.
dead before 8 p.m. You'll never see them.
Like, yo, why can't you tell me now?
Nah, I can't tell you. I have special documents. I'm gonna give them to you later on tonight. Just meet me. It's like, yeah, when you meet them, they're gonna be dead.
Mm-hmm.
But Loki took an L. It was interesting because I don't even think he knew how to be like, yo, I love you, girl. I mean, myself. I mean, I don't know. You got me feeling weird inside, girl.
Have you guys seen Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight?
Yes. It's a classic, yet also bad movie.
So hoping for the Billy Zane moment of Sylvie, I love you. You know. But yeah, I like that trope is snatched away, and Clement nailed it. Or should I call him Balzad? Don't think I didn't see you taking off those glasses and putting them back on. Yeah, but he nailed it with that. Loki let his guard down. And that's big because that has not happened one time in this Loki's timeline, not Thor 1. Well, the last time he let his guard down was Thor 1, when he confronts Odin and finds out his origin. But since then, it's been wall after wall after wall after wall. And he let it down with the girl. And again, I'm afraid that a lot of people are going to look at that scene and go, see, that's why I don't open up right there. As soon as I tell the truth about what I'm thinking, some black chick is going to come up and hit me with a taser. That's just what's going to happen.
But it talks about like, maybe I'm diving too deep here, but it also talks about like, you know, men being vulnerable and how we're not supposed to be vulnerable. And then we're vulnerable for 1 second and then bam. And I'm not saying that happens all the time.
No. Yeah, I saw.
It's just more of like, I think that's what it was hitting on.
Yeah, and to go on that, I saw somebody passing around a video, like a short clip of a guy in a interview with someone, and he was like, you know, we're generally told, you know, as men, hey, stop being so closed and guarded with your emotions, show your emotions. And he was like, the only thing is, in a lot of cases, when we do, unfortunately, it's with the wrong woman. And when we do get open with our emotions, then it's used against us. So then after that, we're like, nah, I think I might be cool. And see, he let his guard down. He let his emotions show. And what happened? He got stabbed in the back. He got disintegrated.
And I think that's important because if this was like Ragnarok Loki before Infinity War, he would have been like, cool, I need to talk to you a second, but there's going to be something else coming. I have a feeling that something else is going to happen. And he wouldn't be able to caught that sword or whatever the tool is that they call it and been like, no, now you're going to tell me the story instead of Silly being that person.
Well, it's interesting on that because, you know, I want to expand on what Mike was talking about because, as men, especially as Black men, you know, since all three of us here count that thing, we're told what to do these things in general, but each specific instance that we do tends to come with either negative circumstantial consequence or direct negative consequence. You know, oh, you shouldn't be so guarded. You should let your emotions go, but not anger, sadness, jubilance.
The only emotion you should let go is what exactly?
Yeah, exactly. And I know that was something that the second season of Luke Cage really tried to address. So, you know, I'm concerned that this scene in 20 years is going to be like used as fodder as to, well, yeah, that's why I don't open up because, you know, I'm afraid that's going to happen.
I'm gonna get killed.
You know,
even though I mean, you can get killed, but
you'll be all right. It's like we're talking about sci-fi. Like you'll be all right. It's like in this thing. It's just like you have to learn to be vulnerable. And for Loki, that was his first time being vulnerable at all.
Yeah, since the first Thor movie. Yeah,
and like with the exception of his mom, it's very much like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna lay it on the line. We just killed the timekeepers. There's probably some bigger conspiracy happening, but you know what? I'm gonna take a second for me, and I'm gonna say what I need to get out, and that's what happened. So I think that's why we had to talk about that, Mike. But we had to touch it.
Yeah, but just to expand on that for another hot second,
All right.
it's really important to make clear that that moment of vulnerability wasn't the reason that, you know, he got stabbed in the back by another woman. That was timing. And I think the really big thing out there, like it is important to open up and be vulnerable and all that stuff, but it's also important to know when, you know. We saw that in the Aquaman movie, you know, hey son, while we're in the middle of this submarine hijacking, let me tell you about your grandfather. I'm like, no, that's for bourbon after you do the job. Right. After it's done, after you survive.
I think you're gonna die for this.
While you're in the middle going, yeah, I'm gonna buy a farm and I'm gonna have some kids. Takes out picture. This is my girl. You don't do that in
takes out a picture. It's true though. In any kind of military film, if someone talks about what they're gonna do when they get home, they're not getting home.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know, they're never getting home. Ever. Like, you know, man, when I get home, I'm gonna hug my wife. Oh, I can't wait, man. I miss my son. But you ain't never. You better pick up a cell phone because you ain't gonna never see them again.
Yeah, the only two that ever lives is, hey, what you gonna do after the war? I'm going to bed, and I ain't going home. You know, those are the only ones that live. You know.
Oh man. So, but with that said. Loki dies.
In the room time,
sort of. Loki wakes up because I was like, yo, this is a bold choice. Y'all gonna finish the Loki show without Loki? I see you, Disney. You about to get bold. Y'all doing it like you never did it before.
Yeah,
and they were like, nah, we still gonna have Loki.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, Randy is there, and again, it's technically still Loki, and I thought that would have been a bold and brilliant choice for those writers. But let's face it, this is a vehicle for Tom Hiddleston, like the Millennium Falcon was a vehicle for Harrison Ford. Wow. So yeah, it's
not wrong.
And that's why we've now opened up, you know, now we've opened up this whole new world with a whole bunch of other Lokis. I mean, we talked about them, but we ain't seen them.
Yeah. And I was waiting for this scene. I was waiting for this post-credit scene because I was like, I love Richard E. Grant. He's a dope actor. He's a really good actor. So I was like, okay, where is he gonna be? Where logically in the 6th episode is he gonna show up? And the only person that he could realistically be is old school Loki. So I was when they
you ain't lied on old school.
That giveaway. I was ready for it. Wait, what'd you say?
I said you ain't never lied on old school. Old school,
like big bendy horns, like all the way back here, like
straight span. You know, it was funny because my girl and I almost got into a big argument because as soon as I saw that scene, I'm going, spandex, really? You know, 90% of Jack Kirby's art was depicting chainmail, scale mail, and fishing. You know, plastic don't cost that much. And you already got a costumer, so just tink, 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 tink. Grab some unpaid interns that want to be in the movie industry and tink, tink, tink. You know, at least for 3 fringes. You know, I mean, it's a thing. But you know, God, that costume was so funky. It was so. And again, this is coming from me going, man, this looks good on point. This looks good on point.
Okay.
You know. Like 2 things stood out to me in that.
The alligator flow was nice though.
I ain't gonna lie on that. But
you know, got that alligator man flow with the. I was like, all right, I see you.
Yeah, you know, the 2 things that stood out to me for real in that scene was old school Loki, or should I say, I finally got my dad to cosplay Loki.
Oh.
And why not? I live in the country, so I'm gonna make a hammer out of what's laying around. I'm like, is that a piston? When I looked at that, when I looked am I wrong? I mean, I don't want to be the hot take guy here. I really don't. You got nothing to do for that. But I'm just calling it like I see it. When he's standing there with the thing on it, I'm like, Oh man. Oh man. My dad gave me a ride to the convention and I convinced him to cosplay and I really should have thought about it. I really should have worked on that costume a little bit longer. You
Well,
know,
Blurted
literally,
says they like that the costume looks old and crusty and everything. You know, they like that. You know, what I'm saying it makes sense. Tyler Bennett said, "Please don't use Blokey anymore in the series." First thing, we not calling him Blokey. That's the first thing.
no.
One, we ain't calling him Blokey. Two, all right, why can't a brother be on the show? Huh? Why you hating on black people trying to rise? All right.
Oh, three, we ain't calling him Blokey. He is Loki first, everything second.
He just
Man.
happens to be a black Loki. All right. Is he going to be black? Yes.
And what? Yeah.
But he
And
ain't
why
Blokey.
does that have to be a thing? We're dealing with multiverse. You know,
Right.
we ain't calling him we ain't calling him a Loki Gator.
Oh man.
Seriously.
But
You
so it's like now we're in some kind of, I don't know, version of Hades or something. I don't know. But I'm very interested and I feel like, but now that I'm intrigued for what we've seen from this post-credit scene, I feel like we're going to end up in a situation where I'm going to want an extra episode and we're not going to get it. Because we've now opened up the door. We got two new mysteries. One, we know the reptiles, they ain't real. Now we got proof they ain't real. They're just animatronics, all right? It's just Chuck E. Cheese. Boom. So that's one. That's a big thing. Who runs this place? Who is in charge? All right? That's one already. Number two, where is Loki? How'd he get there? Can he come back? Is he in the real time? Is he in some Nexus time event or something? Is he even in our reality? Is all
Well,
kinds of things.
whole bunch of
Next
theories
time
out
on
there.
Loki. No.
No, a whole bunch. Same Loki time, same as Guardian channel. No, my girl actually has a theory that one, she has a theory of who's behind it. Being the other member of Lovecraft Country that isn't in a DC
Yeah.
movie, right? And her theory is when they get tased and reset, they're just going to a place in the timeline that they can't alter, the timeline that the Conqueror created. Like, it's as long as you guys are back here in the timeline, you can screw up my present. So I'm gonna put you in my future so I can make sure that I'm here. And
Okay.
that's what her theory is. In truth, I don't have one. I'm literally not coming up with any theories on any of this stuff. I'm just watching it, taking it in, and trying to see it the way my mom and my cousins will.
Okay.
Just going,
Okay.
all right,
Now,
yeah, I'm
all right, then I guess I'll close it out with this question for everybody. Is the sacred timeline the same timeline, or would we consider it the same timeline that was being referenced in the Avengers films?
You mean the one that the ancient one was
The
talking
ancient
about?
one was talking about.
Mm.
Will we consider that the sacred timeline? Or does the ancient one even know about the sacred timeline?
See, this is
Like-
this is where I've read too many philosophy books.
Exactly.
Because
Because I mean, they are the ancient one and they know mad stuff. All right.
well,
And
the answer is sure, why not? Because just as every character is the hero of their own story,
okay.
any timeline that you live in is the one you're gonna think is the sacred one.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not the ancient one's gonna be like, yes, the timeline. That's this. This isn't the sacred timeline. We're just here. This is like, this is Earth
Okay.
685. I'm not really trying to preserve it. I'm just hanging out while I'm here. No, every person that's
Okay.
in the timeline is going to be like, no, this is the sacred one because this is where all my stuff is.
This is where
My
all my
issue.
this is mine.
So I'm here, therefore this is my sacred timeline. Is it the sacred timeline? I don't care.
I ain't ask all that.
That'd be the sacred timeline. I don't want to get erased. You know, that's how most people think.
I don't want to get erased. Well, I mean, true. Don't nobody want to get erased. Blurty said, man, just forget what the ancient one was talking about, LOL. Empty your mind and open your third eye or something. See, we're saying this right. Thank you, Blurtish, for letting me know. Keith from Blur said, open your third eye, son. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like somebody just got palm to the chest.
Anyway, with that said, guys, we have exercised all the demons. We have exhausted all possibilities. Well, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? We did table the issue where it's like, look, I just don't know. I mean, some people are saying, some people saying it's just self-gratification because it's still the same exact you, and some because because it's you being with you, then it's just you. But man, I don't know. Look, anyway.
Okay, we're pausing that because it's a family show. No
it's
more.
A family show. So, Clement, tell them where they can find you.
Twitter, Instagram, at Clement Bryant. Thanks for watching. Man, y'all upset me now. Y'all upset my Sunday. Y'all.
Man, who knows?
You get to blow some stuff up today, though. I mean, that's a thing.
Because like, you know, look,
I gotta give you some crap for this Sunday because you'll probably have a better one next week or something. You know, there's always more Sundays.
I mean,
true.
Sunday, but yeah. Anyways,
so Mr. Cinematic Sorcerer, tell them where they can find you.
Well, I'm here to bargain.
Nice.
I'm here to bargain. No.
Nice.
All right, you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter. Drop me an email at Back in the Deck. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can find me on the social medias, you know, Twitter, Instagram, at BACKINTHEDECK. Check out my channel here on YouTube. Look for Solar Greye or Back in the Deck at Gmail. I want to give a major shout out to Tyler Bennett because he's been laying into me this whole episode, man. Yeah, I got jokes, but I see you. But yeah, so hit me up there, and you know, if anybody tells you you can't like what you like because of circumstances of your birth, race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, budget, dimension, or timeline, you can take any of that stuff and put it back in the deck. You know, but I am with Mr. Bennett because I want to see Quick walking Loki too. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see Loki in a 6-fold power.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
So
okay.
Boom, mischief.
So shouts to the chat, Blurtish, Tyler Bennett, No One Nobody, Clever Little Vixen, Shot by Nolan if he was here, Eon 001, Ghost MKC, even Arcatron super duper early in the chat. Much love to all y'all. If I forgot your name, it's not on purpose. It's a whole bunch of little names. Hard to see them all. But of course, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you see. Hit that thumbs down if you don't. But if you don't, you're going to be in a room with Sif beating you up all day. All right? And all she's going to do is walk in, bust you in your head, walk out. And then she's going to come back. All right? And then you're going to be like, please, don't hit me no more. I'm sorry. I feel bad. She's still going to hit you. All right?
Yeah, if you don't like it, subscribe. That way you can be in the chat and you can tell us what your opinion is.
Thank you. So that's it. Podcast for listening, Spotify for that music. From us to you, thank you for watching, and peace. We out, and of course, as always, Wu-Tang is for the children. Yeah.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I would label the drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the Pack and Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all get from Hunger.